And me, let's take away the trade show. Hold on, I got myself going twice. All right, that should be fine. All right, listen, racetrack, not street announcer. Yeah, thanks, there. I appreciate that, Kurt. Oh, I'm gonna have to. This is not gonna work out terribly well. All right, here we go. We were going to go and invite me on as a guest. I'm not going to do that. You're probably getting to hear this thing twice. That's it, not it. So we got to work through how that actually happens. No Rotten Tomatoes. All right, that's good. Yeah, so we got another, what is it, May 9th, in another couple of months, and we go racing again. But there are things that are happening. Just like Kurt, you and the rest of the team over there prepare your cars. Well, there's a few things that are going on that pretty darn excited about. One of them is going to be this HIA trade show, the Hop Hog Industrial Association trade show. So we're going to see if we can get some of the well, look, it's a trade show. We should be there, right? I mean, just overall. So if you want to attend that, you're just going to go to HIA-LI. In fact, I'll put the link up for that thing while we're here over here. HIA-LI .org. That would be true. You got to spell it right. And you could register for free. Might as well do this one. We'll just talk about this thing for right now. Oh, I wanted to go outside today. I didn't make that happen. But let's see. Trade show, donate, contact, trade show. Trade show. Here it is. Register. Click here. Click on sponsors. Click here to register. If you do want to sponsor, they do have tables. Tables are, I think it was $950 for an 8-foot table, 1100 for same size table, maybe a little bit bigger, and then you get a list of everybody that attended the show. So there is value in that, of course. Let's get back to here, StreamYard. When I do these things, gotta actually. So that is the link to the trade show. Doug, good afternoon to you too. Hey Doug, you and Kurt might have a mutual friend if you want to share that one. Otherwise, we'll talk privately. But the HIA trade show is there. That's the link for it. Here's something else that we set up a while ago. I'm sorry. Here's something they set up a while ago. My suggestion. But it was something that I thought made a whole lot of sense to do, and that is a Facebook group page for the trade show itself. And right now you got 300 members on there. Not the worst thing in the world, but we got 300 members that are on there. This is the Facebook group page, and then we'll discuss that one as we go. Carrie, good afternoon to you. As that happens, and you got that going up there. All right. So the HIA trade, so it's May 9th. Trade show is coming up the end of May. Couple other things going on. We're going to make them happen. Well, they're going to happen. And then we'll broadcast them out. Got a couple of folks doing either radio or podcasts. That is going on. Let's see, June 14th, I'll be over at the Miller Business Center. Everybody wants to attend that one. It'd be a pleasure to have friends and business associates at that one. So I'll be at the Miller Business Center. I'm on confidently delivering and developing that elevator pitch. Yeah, absolutely. Delivering and developing that elevator pitch. What about that? What about that? It's like, well, what do you do for a living? Not how do you get paid? Not how do you get paid, but what do you do for a living? Really, what is your value add? Because that's what people are going to be interested in that first. I think according to a couple of people, I believe it was Glenn Rudin came up with this one. You got like 6 or 8 seconds to actually catch somebody's interest. But let's assume you got a little bit longer. But like, why should I care about you? Oh, I know, that's a little brutal, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Why should I care? Why should somebody give a darn about you? Right? So it's like, oh, I get paid to sell widgets. Big deal. I'm very successful at selling widgets. Big deal. Tell me how I can benefit from those widgets. How can I benefit from my relationship with you? What is it that you bring to the table that I want to stay in touch with you? And maybe it's business, maybe it's referral, maybe it's just, you're just somebody that people just want to be around, whatever it is, whatever it might be. Everybody's got different businesses and different reasons for attending these trade shows and things like that. But needs to be there. I just wish I was doing this before the HIA trade show. I'm not, so be it. That'll go whatever that is. So it'll be June 14th. Maybe we'll share some stories over there. The worst elevator pitch you heard. That could be well, that could be embarrassing. That's not the way we live in, right? We live in a world of growth. We live in a world of good. We live in a world where everything's fantastic. That's utter crap. We're not. We don't. It's definitely a struggle with half of the stuff that's going on. But whatever. But definitely want to live in a more positive world. Hopefully, we'll get there with the whole thing. But maybe we'll share a few stories about some of these horrendous elevator pitches. As that goes. But that's what we're going to be discussing. What I am actually, I got a call into Alex Blend. He was asking me about that. Alex is one of the associates, along with Sal and Elizabeth, over at the Miller Business Center. And one of the things that I wanted to discuss with them was, what do you do with this elevator pitch? Once you have that together, once you have your little value add together, where do you go with it? Well, the reality is you can go into an awful lot of places with it, especially now, especially now. And it's so incredibly important. Look, you got a number of folks on here. If everybody put up the website, and if you want to do that, go right ahead, or your LinkedIn page, or your Facebook page, or your Instagram or TikTok, whatever it is that you do. But if I were to go to that site, what's the impression that I'm getting from you? Why would I care about that site? Right? And this can go across the board over here, but not again what you do to get paid, but what value do you provide? I make it more comfortable for people that are getting their photo taken. I take care of the car in its entirety and the concerns that you may have, things like that. Right. So it's not just towing a car for the sake of towing a car. It's making sure that everything is done proper. We handle whatever is surrounding that, whatever paperwork or helping out, in different ways. So that's part of it. So that elevator pitch, once you have that, once you have your little 30-second or so elevator pitch, now you could take that and use this as a basis for everything else that you're doing. The social media stuff, which is why I want to see if we can get somebody down there for the social media side of it. Obviously, videos on LinkedIn, right? You can now put a little 30-second blurb up there, a little video on you, let alone in that about section on LinkedIn or Facebook, and the about us or about you on your websites and things like that. All of that goes that way. And then, of course, in my little world over here with that podcast, whatever you want to call it, it's that if I were to go over to your site and look at you from a guest standpoint, well, now I got a much better idea of the fact of what we could discuss, not just the product or not just the service, but about what we can discuss that goes along with it. It's my side. What about your side? What about your side? Don't you think that your marketing campaign would be directly tied in with that? How do you separate yourself from everybody else? I like to use accountants as the example on that one, right? Accountants. You probably know a couple of accountants. Some do personal, some do business, some are more consultant accountants, some are just straight out accountants, do business, in tax season, things like that. There's all kinds of different accountants that are out there. But if we just lump them all together, I'm an accountant and I'm not an accountant. But if you just, if you're an accountant, you just say, I'm an accountant. Well, what kind? What do you really do? Where do you focus? Why do you focus? Why do you focus on some area? All that stuff. So it all becomes incredibly important, to go and do. So that's what's going on. That is how to deliver an elevator pitch, and it took me 10 minutes to do that. But that's the point. So anybody can make it down there. It's free. It's June 14th, 8:30 to 9 or so is open networking. We're all going to get to know each other quite a bit. But 8:30 to 9 is technically open networking, coffee, danishes, whatever. that'll be there, and then we'll go from 9 to approximately 10:30. Everybody will introduce themselves. Everybody will get a chance to know each other. And then we'll kind of go figure out what everybody's true value is, and then how to craft that whole thing and put it together. And then depending upon who else is there, maybe we'll have a few social media people there, the website people, etc. To kind of put their 2 cents in there when it comes to providing value and making sure everybody else sees your value. The PR people, all the rest of that stuff, the branding. So it's good. So yeah, I got you, Kurt. We're all good. There we go. Kurt over there. Yeah, working with upset customers because their lives. Now I'm going to put this one up, Kurt. Working with upset customers because their lives came to a dead stop. So you must be kind and understanding. It's not just picking up a car. It's customer relationships, walking people off the plank. Okay, but yeah, that's it. Hey, your car breaks down, man. That's a stressful moment. What do you need? You need somebody that's not just going to pick up the car. You need somebody who's going to help you through that whole aspect of it. So, without a doubt, there, my friend, without a doubt, all good. And there's the website. We'll get that one going there. This way you have that. And I'm going to leave up over here. It's a long site for the HIA trade show. I just put up the site. It's WHIA-LI.org. And then I'll leave that up there. And so, I'm very supportive of the whole thing. I think the trade show makes a lot of sense. I've been attending as a guest. I've attended as a sponsor at different times. And that has been the way that one goes. And there we go, new comments. There we go. This is the HR. So anyways, here's some new comments. Been attending from over the years for the trade show. It's good. So it's Brentwood campus on Suffolk Community, the Suffolk Community College Brentwood campus. Goes from 9 to 3 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. They have the executive breakfast that you can attend in person or you can attend online. So that's where that one goes. All right. So what's the the big thing that are kind of focusing on over here with the trade show? For one, with this program and stuff like that, I'm definitely looking to have guests on again. So that'll be something that looking for in that respect. The other side of it has to do with the fact of the vocational aspect of it. I really am very excited to be helping Ron out with regards to the manufacturing committee and all of the job possibilities that are inside of the manufacturers. There's so many manufacturers out here on the island. I put that flyer up before. You could add that back up over here. There's so many manufacturers out on the island, and the amount of careers that come out of that are just it's just absolutely immense. So through involvement, board member actually, of the ECNY Foundation, which really has to do with careers. Maria Fry does the ECNY Corporation, so she helps transition executives, etc., that really need help with the LinkedIn profile and all this of that. She also does these job search boot camps, which are helping people through that transition period. That's the value side of it. I mean, she really, really helps out and very, very hands-on. Everything from explaining COBRA to helping with the resume, reviewing your resume as that goes, LinkedIn profiles, reviewing those LinkedIn profiles, and mock interviews. So I'll be doing the mock interview night that is in Port Washington, and I'm helping these folks out when you're being interviewed. And I don't mean for podcasting. I mean like a job interview, and be able to deal with that, and also where they need to prepare themselves so they're able to share their value as an employee with whatever company they're looking for. So a lot of it ties in with the same thing. So with the fact that Ron Loveland and the manufacturing committee are looking at this thing and adding the job fair component to it, it just naturally made sense. And as you know, been talking a lot about the fact that, if there was a permanent drag strip out on the island, what that would mean to the high school automotive programs, what kind of catalyst that would be. And I'm finding out that more and more schools have got these automotive programs that I was not aware of. Oceanside does it more from a technology base. They built a boat one year, they built a car another year. They brought the car they were building last year to the HIA trade show this year. They're not bringing the car, but the car is now running. It is they got the engine, tires, wheels, the whole thing on it. That is a running automobile. The Long Beach High School has got their own car, and they got a car show that's actually coming up in June, I believe it is, so we can share that one. So they have a car show coming up, in June, so that's pretty darn exciting. But these high schools, they got more than just automotive programs. What I have found out is that they have an awful lot of vocational programs inside of the schools, and they're tied in very, very closely with many of the colleges that are out here. And also many businesses are tied in very closely with the high schools and their vocational programs because that conduit is a direct conduit to finding employees. That's the business side of it. To finding employees that have a true, sincere interest in working in that field. And now, if a student has been involved in a vocational program for 1, 2, 3 years, whatever it is, inside of the high school years, now the company truly knows that they really have an interest in this and they have some training in that industry. And if the company's involved, the specific company's involved, they now have a relationship with the student. So if you're the company that's been sponsoring or participating in whatever vocational program that the school has, who do you think that student is going to go to when it comes time for them get their get that job going or get that career started? They're going back to who they know. You're at least in the running for that person. So it really helps out. I think Ron even has an example of a company that was, in fact, I know he does. It was on a podcast that he was doing. And there was one company that's out here that's really not struggling for employees, and the company's growing. It's not that. It's the fact that they have put the time, energy, and effort into creating a relationship with those students inside of the high schools. So when they do graduate, every year he's got a new grouping of students that are potential employees for that company. It's there. It really is there. The other thing that he mentioned too was, our company's exciting to work for. Now I know Kurt's company is exciting to work for. You know, if that is of some interest to you, obviously. Uh, but is a company exciting to work for? And that comes to the branding of the company, and that is something that I never really considered to be a factor. And I guess I was wrong on that one. I didn't think of it. Maybe not wrong, but I just never thought of it. Always think of the branding of a company as like, hey, would you do business with me and that kind of thing, and being clear as to what you thought of whatever that business was. Or your brand is an internal communication with the employees to make sure that everybody's consistent and it's a consistent message. I've heard complaints about that with trade shows, right? Go to a trade show, you got a company there with multiple employees. So you start at one end of the table, you ask the trade show participant employee, tell me about the company, and then you ask the other person on the other end. It's like you're playing the telephone game. You're getting a different answer. It's like, how in the world is that? Well, that's a poor branding thing because you got two different brands going on. Plus, it leaves the impression that company just doesn't have it together. So definitely make sure it's right. And then, of course, with the advertising, customers, et cetera, et cetera. But I never thought about it from a recruiting standpoint. Never considered that one. Right? How important is it for your recruits to be able to see the kind of company that you are, the what you stand for, and there's a few of you out there that are very, very clear as to what you stand for. And it's got nothing to do with industry you're in. It's got nothing to do if you're offering a product or a service. Is that you're looking for a certain level of employee I'm not talking about knowledge, right? Knowledge depends on the role, but really looking for people that have got that integrity thing, really have that integrity thing going on, that are dedicated to something, that are not going to not show. I mean, you really want to be there. So you really want to make sure that you as a company are portraying that one out there too, and be real clear on this. I've heard stories about people ghosting jobs. I had to really take a look to see what that even really meant. Accepting jobs and not showing, just not showing up. It's like, never would have imagined that. Never would have imagined it. I mean, look back. I once messed up one time. I was told to meet somebody someplace. I thought that name was for a restaurant. Instead of that name was actually for a statue. Me that. Well, I just assumed. Well, that was a mistake. That was bad on my part. Didn't get that job. It was a very, very quick follow up. I went, apologized, like, no, we need somebody who understands details that could actually listen and understand. And if you don't know, you don't know. That's all fine not to know, but you got to ask. Got to ask. Well, there we go. That was a learning moment years ago. Still quite the learning moment. But the brand of these companies, from an employee standpoint, wow. Now I really wonder if you have an HR department, or you're in HR, or you're an employment company, or you're interacting with people as Maria is, as the EC&Y Foundation is, as so many of the workforce development teachers are, and internship folks are, how important it is for them to fully understand what the brand of the company is and what the intention or desire and interest of the potential employee is. So I think it's changed their role quite a bit. It's not just a matter of these are the positions that are open. It really has become a bit of a matchmaking game. We're really trying to hook up. You're really trying to make sure that you're matching up, the right people with the right position for the right reasons, with the right set of values that get tossed into that too. So it's interesting. So we're going to put on the list over here of people that we want to interview. The HR people. Love to find out how much their role has changed over I mean, throughout COVID, but how much change it's changed over the years, and how much it changes on a going forward basis, especially with a much tighter labor market. You got a lot of people that are leaving companies, looking for something better. Changes it up quite a bit. Definitely changes it up quite a bit. Interesting stuff. Interesting as that goes along. So that is what's going on there. What else do we got here? We've got so you get the HIA trade show. You know what? Let me see if I could find the link over here to the seminar at the Miller Business Center. We'll get that up too. Miller Business Center. Let's see, Brian Cohen. You think I come up? And I don't see. That was a little too easy to do. Nah, that was too easy. All right, so let's go to the website, Miller Business Center. We'll throw that up real quick. This way we have something there, just in case I can't find the rest of it. StreamYard, move back. That's the Miller Business Center. So if you go there, you take a look at the Nope, that's not it. New comments. There we go. Miller Business Center. If you take a look over there, you'll be able to see the different programs that are coming up. And there are quite a few. In fact, I'm just going to leave it like, let's see if we can find it. Programs and events. Miller Business Mornings, I think we're under. It's May. And we're looking for it. I'm just going to leave it there because I don't seem to be able to find it at the moment. Oh, yeah, here we go. Next one is May 11th. Yes, this is where all of these things kind of go in. Yeah. All right. Anyhow, so we got different. Sorry about that. A little dead air, right? Anyhow, next one is May 11th, and that is how to leverage photography to build a brand online. Very important too, right? All this stuff is. Let's just throw that over there too. Anyhow, so I'm going to leave that one up to millerbusinesscenter.org. Sign up for their newsletter. This way, you get all these things. Have a ton of programs. They're all free to attend. Which is absolutely wonderful. They're in person. These are the kinds of things. This one I think is one of those things that needs to be in person, but they're in person events. You get the so go, just go. And if you need help, if you need any kind of marketing help and you want to figure out what kind of a mailing list to get together or to see what the industry is, and you need some research on that one, just reach out to them. Either Alex, Sal, Liz, whatever. They are just an absolute wealth of information, and it's all totally complimentary. So big resource on that one too. So we'll continue highlighting them as that goes. So we are now we got 27 minutes, got 3 minutes to close this one out here today. So what's the overall message? Well, I think the overall message here when it comes to delivering and developing an elevator pitch or figuring out these trade shows, which ones to go to or not, which one of the Miller Business Center events to go to or not. The Small Business Development Center has that, or join a networking group, any of these things, and go to anything. Where does it begin? Where does it begin? Or more importantly, where does it end? Because you could begin and go to all these things all over the place, do everything. I made that mistake at one point in time. Joined and went to everything, handed out business cards all over the place. All I was the guy that showed up at all of these things. That's it. Did I meet a lot of people? Yeah, absolutely. Did I get anything accomplished? No, other than I met a lot of people. They never knew why they met me. They just met me. Served no real purpose in that respect. So when you do go, this is not just a numbers game, right? It is going to events that make sense. It is going to events and being very clear about who you are and what you're looking to accomplish and whether or not you want to work with that person, use or work with that person from a business standpoint, work with that person as a referral standpoint, or just not. I mean, sometimes that is really it. Don't make networking a lifestyle. Make it something that makes sense for you. And if it does make sense for you, those folks that you do interact with, that you do stay with, they're going to appreciate it that much more too, because you'll be able to help and you'll build your circle from there and then grow from that aspect. And it'll just keep on growing. That's the cool part of the whole thing. Because once you get that following, then all of a sudden you become an overnight success, right? Still working down that path, but we are having a good time on that journey. And that's another one that's also very part of the whole thing. So be clear. If you haven't figured out what your value is, well, besides joining us in June, but for now, here's what you should do. Grab a pen and paper and write down all those little sidebar conversations you have with somebody and keep that pad with you. And then when somebody asks you a question and you respond to it, jot that question down. Because when they ask you something a little bit off from what you normally are doing, and that's the value. You'll see a pattern. You'll see a pattern. And that becomes the basis for a whole lot of things going forward. We'll discuss that one further on. All right. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. 1 o'clock. And it's now 1:30, so it's time to go. So remember, do what you do best. Speak well. Speak often. Live inspired. You just may impact somebody along the way.